Welcome back to What RT Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Super Conqueror. It's a Tier 10 British heavy tank. It's located on the south spawn of Redshire and it's under the command of Oppenheimer, and you can see 2 marks of excellence on that 120mm L1A1 barrel. Okay, battle is about to commence. Okay, well, the Super Conqueror, as many of you know, or if you've listened to Jingles talk about it, is basically a new version of the Conqueror tank that was actually used as a range target. It was actually just a turret with the bursting plates around the outside to test the Malkara missile. So it never actually got put into production, but it's an interesting concept all the same. It's a bit like the Conqueror that you actually see in the game at Tier 9, but well, this one, it's still a very decent tank. It's got 400 alpha off that 120mm gun, penetration of 259 with standard AP, goes up to 326 with the APCR. And we've got a customer already. It's an Object 277. It's made it up to the Zeppelin. In fact, actually, he's managed to get up here fairly early. Well, Oppenheimer's not going directly up there on his own. He's actually going to let his teammates go directly there, and he's going to sit here and use his 9 degrees of gun depression to get shots on those enemies over the ridgeline. Okay, this is the dicey bit, because as he pulps up here, is there anybody to shoot him? Well, he fires around into the 277, but it's too high, doesn't contact. Now he's going to be exposed to that 13cm gun, puts a round into him, a high roll, 463, the 277 pulls back. And looks like, yes, he is going to be able to get nice shots into this guy from this position. He can work one side whilst the ST1 works the other. Oh, right on the nose. In fact, actually bounces 3 rounds in quick succession. And there's another enemy tank up there. ST1 doesn't get through the armour. I think you could see some of those rounds actually went through the bursting plate, but they just couldn't get through the turret. Well, where did that one go? Okay, goes to the Object 277. Should get it. Oh, it doesn't go through. Just damages the tracks. And, well, nothing came back in return. He's trying to get it again, but this time round the E75DS does manage to get a shot into him. And I think that went in through the side. He fires one back. This time round he does contact the E75 for 431, but he's taking damage, and there's a T10 rather, and he's now got that E75 TS, and he is making contact, and he gets one back again, the high roll. Now just don't expose anything weak. T10, yeah, gets through the front plate of that thing, but it's a low roll, 369, needs to get low now. The 277's gone, needs to get at that T10 on equal terms. Thank you. If he offers the cupola, take it. 319. He's pushing his teammate into position, using him almost as shielded, a bit of armour. Can he get at that T10 without exposing himself to the E75? Had that E75. He's out the game. Oh, just missed the opportunity there to get a shot into the T10 as he pulled back. Working the corner. Oh, now this is difficult. He's got the Progetto up above, puts one into him for 410, which is a high roll. He's now got an ST1 behind him as well. I hope his teammates actually deal with that. The Progetto bounces, goes for the cupola on T10. Yes, lovely. I love shots like that. So easy to get the cupola when they offer it like that. And well, that Progetto's in a bit of a sticky situation now, because there's nowhere for him to go except into the fire. And there you go, he's going to take another round. Oppenheimer's following him. Will he get around him before he goes over? Yes. Now ST1, he's got to turn, because that guy is actually coming up his rear, puts one into his tracks to hold him in place, completes the turn. He's lost a fair bit of hit points. He's down to just 16%, and that one won't go through, but it does track him, keeps the track up. Now, can he get the side? No, just tracks him again. He's going to have to come closer to actually get the shot, angling correctly. That one will go into the tracks but doesn't kill him. Very unusual, that didn't go in. And that time he did get something. 380, going for the engine bay again. Yes, he got it this time. He's out of premium ammo, so he has to use the standard AP, but he is getting hits now. Just running very, very short on hit points. Tries to get another one in. Yes, he does. So there's only 3 left on his team, unfortunately. That ST1 came up rather late, but he actually did quite a lot of damage. He took out the other 2 teammates who were helping Oppenheimer. And, ooh, STG. Now, this is going to be difficult, even though it's a medium. And he lost 516 hit points. Go for the Cupola. Yes, lovely. He lost 516 hit points from ramming. Now we got an SU-101. And oh, we got killed straight away by the SU-101. Arati just shotgunned 2 of the enemy together, the EBR and the Leopard prototype. But he died a split second later. And the game is over. Oh, too much to do, too little time left, and he ran out of teammates because that ST1 came up and surprised them from behind. Let's have a look at the end of battle stats. Well, it's actually a second-class tanker for Oppenheimer in the Super Conqueror. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 5. He got 1/3 of the enemy team. He also got a duelist, a Pfeiffer effect, and a bruiser medal. He also picked up a battle hero medal for getting the high caliber, getting the most damage in the game. His win rate from that game was 10,428. Yes, he was really working as hard as he could, but unfortunately, yes, there was just too few teammates left, and he kept on facing one tank after the other, and the SU-101 was the final straw. I'm afraid he was caught with very few hit points left, and that SU-101 could just finish him off with 1 round. So let's have a look at team scores. Top of the table with damage, 7,361 hit points of damage. Nobody else came anywhere near him. The Striv 103B, which was the highest other scorer, the next scorer, only had 2,790, and that's less than 1/2. In fact, it's almost 1/3 of the damage that Oppenheimer had, just slightly under 1/3 actually, slightly over 1/3. And when it came to the next high scorer was the EBR 75 FL10 with 2519. When it came to kills, again, he's got the top with 5. The next high scorers being the Progetto 65 with 3, the Object 277 and that Leopard prototype, all on the enemy team. Nobody on his own team managed to get more than 1 kill, and only 3 other members of his team actually scored kills during that game. And when it came to base XP, well, Oppenheimer only managed to get 682 out of this one because it was on the losing team, whilst the EBR 75 FL10 managed to get 1,068, the highest base. The 1,013 goes to the E75TS, and 948 goes to the Leopard Prototype A. Again, this just goes to prove that the wheelies are well OP, and Wargaming is going to have to nerf them seriously, otherwise their OP heavy tanks are going to be embarrassed time and time again by wheeled vehicle. That is a tier 8 tank, and he's outperforming a tier 10 heavy. That is ridiculous. If that was the case, then the Soviet Union wouldn't have had fleets of Object 279s or fleets of IS-3s to conquer Europe. They would have had loads of wheelies. And that's just how stupid this whole thing has become. Wargaming introduces the wheelies to balance out the arty. And what do? They balance out every other tank in the game at the same time and make these tanks look stupid. I mean, really, Wargaming, are you really serious? I mean, I haven't seen other games make the same mistake, or at least, although I must remember, I've seen the War Thunder video or one of their promotional trailers, where they've actually shown that they've got wheeled vehicles in their game. But obviously, they wouldn't be so stupid as to make this sort of error as to introduce a whole class of vehicles which completely outclasses everything else. And yet during the Second World War they didn't anywhere by any means outclass everyone else. Yes, there was one incident of a Tiger tank, or supposedly a Tiger tank, being taken down by an M8 Greyhound, but even that, people doubt the actual after-action report, and they doubt that it was a Tiger because the Germans said there's no Tigers in the area, so it couldn't have been a Tiger 1. But the American officers swear blind that it was. I think he just misinterpreted which tank it was. It was probably a Panzer IV with Schutzen around the turret and both the sides, and it made it look like a Tiger tank. Anyway, that's enough of my rant for the moment. Let's have a look at the detail report. 29 shots fired, 28 direct hits, 19 penetrations, good accuracy. Didn't penetrate all of them though. Unfortunately, he did have a lot of problems trying to get through the side of that ST1. And 7,361 hit points of damage, all of it at close range. Received 17 hits from the enemy, 6 penetrations, 11 non-penetrations. He was actually on for a steel wall at the time, but of course, because he didn't survive the battle, he didn't get one. 3,750 hit points of damage blocked by armor, 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 6 enemy vehicles damaged and 5 killed. And on a premium count, he earned 90,305 credits, got 45,152 from personal reserves and 6,705 for courageous resistance. That's for getting a battle hero medal in a losing or a drawn game. His total, 142,162, and after repair and ammunition resupply, he still took away a profit of 20,507 credits. That's mostly because he didn't actually spend anything on consumables. As you've seen in many of his battles in other games, yes, he has used consumables, and that's what puts him over, and that's what costs him credits. But in this game, all he did fire was a lot of premium ammo, but it did do the desired thing. It took out some of those tanks, the difficult ones to kill. But I'm not so sure I'll use that position that he used in future, because it did seem to me that he was actually being easily penned by the enemy by being at the right angle for them to shoot into his upper armour. 2 rewards received for the high caliber at Top Gun, tier 10. And 1,023 XP, 579 for courageous resistance, 1,602 for personal reserve bonus, and took away 3,204 experience points altogether. So yes, he didn't do too well. He personally did well, 10,428. But the reason he didn't win this game was purely the fact that he was asked to attack and destroy several tanks at the same time, where his teammates, if they'd actually been up to the task, should have been able to take them down. Things like the ST1 that came around the corner, the Progetto, they should have been able to take down those tanks, but instead they got taken out and left Oppenheimer carrying the team against tanks which he was finding it difficult to penetrate because he'd already used up all his premium ammo. And so, yes, this was a carry too much, I'm afraid. But 7.4k, it's more than the enemy team did. Nobody else managed to get close to him on damage. So it just shows the players up to the task. I'm afraid his teammates weren't up to it on this occasion. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like and do subscribe to our channel. And I have received a few hints to my rants about wheelie vehicles, that maybe there are some suggestions that Wargaming could nerf them in some ways to actually balance them out and make it so that these vehicles are not as OP as they are at the moment. And there were some interesting suggestions. They thought about what would actually happen to the engine or reduced engine power if the wheels get hit, or that they can't fire as accurately on the move, and in fact they can't fire at all on the move except straight forward. And there are a lot of tanks like the AMX CLC that couldn't shoot, couldn't turn the turret whilst they were actually on the move, because if they did, it obstructed the driver. So that's why one of the reasons why they locked the turret of the 90mm gun forward, so that it doesn't lop off the driver's head whilst they're turning. I didn't realise that fact, but it is true. But there will be some more Oppenheimer videos in the near future. He is working on these, and I'm sure he'll be sending me another batch soon as he's seen these ones. So thanks very much to Oppenheimer, and if you enjoyed the replay, please give it a like and leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching.